At 2:14 a.m. local time, on the eastern edge of Luhansk Oblast, the temperature drops below freezing and the wind settles into the trees. A convoy of 3 armored vans and 2 unmarked trucks rolls to a stop near an abandoned agricultural complex, 8 kilometers from the front line. Engines cut, lights go dark. Inside the largest vehicle, officers unfold maps under red lamps. This is the 3rd location in 4 nights. By Russian doctrine, that should be enough to stay alive. The routine feels familiar. Communications cables are laid, antennas raised just above the tree line, generators buried under sound-dampening blankets, phones are checked, satellite terminals aligned, guards posted at measured intervals. The command post is temporary by design, meant to exist for hours, not days. The Russian army learned early in the war that fixed headquarters die quickly. Mobility is survival, or so the theory goes. For the officers inside, the night feels quiet in the way nights often do before artillery. Reports arrive from battalion commanders along the line, ammunition levels, drone sightings, minor Ukrainian probing attacks repelled earlier in the evening. Nothing urgent, no alarms. The decision to move again before dawn has already been made. By 5 o'clock, they plan to be gone. What they don't know is that this location has already been marked. The threat does not announce itself with noise or visible movement. There are no jets overhead, no artillery ranging shots. The first indicator is data, collected hours earlier by a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone, flying high enough to be invisible and quiet enough to be ignored as background noise. It has watched the convoy arrive. It has counted vehicles. It has noted antenna configurations and transmission bursts. This is not a supply point. This is command and control. The drone is only the beginning. Signals intelligence teams several kilometers away have been listening all night. Short transmissions, disciplined but not silent, frequencies hopping, but within a familiar pattern, enough to triangulate, enough to narrow the grid to a rectangle less than 200 meters wide. The Russians move every night, but their communications doctrine does not move as fast. At 2:27, the targeting package is complete. The strike does not come immediately. Ukrainian planners wait. They are not rushing. This is not a battlefield emergency. It is a deliberate attack on a system, not a unit. They wait for confirmation that senior officers are present. They wait for a predictable lull in Russian air defense activity. They wait for the generators to settle into a steady rhythm, masking other sounds.
We've got unusual activity on...
The weapon is not exotic. It is not new. It is a precision-guided rocket fired from a HIMARS launcher positioned more than 70 kilometers away. The launcher has been stationary for less than 6 minutes. The crew works in silence, rehearsed, efficient. Coordinates are uploaded. One rocket is selected, not a salvo. This is not area fire. This is surgery. The launch itself is brief and easy to miss. A flash, a pressure wave. Then the launcher is already moving. By the time Russian counter-battery radars begin searching, the firing position is empty. The rocket climbs fast, guided by GPS and inertial navigation, adjusting in flight. It crosses the distance in under a minute. There is no warning on the ground, no sirens, no incoming artillery sound to react to. The first indication is impact. At 02:42:11, the warhead detonates directly above the agricultural complex. The explosion is sharp, contained, precisely placed. It does not flatten the area. It punches down through the roof of the largest vehicle and into the space where maps and radios were spread minutes earlier. The blast kills instantly within a tight radius. Shrapnel tears through antennas, cables, generators. A second vehicle is damaged but not destroyed. Fires start small and localized. There is no cinematic fireball. There is no prolonged barrage. The strike lasts seconds. Survivors react in fragments. Guards fire into the darkness, unsure at what. Medics rush toward the damaged vehicles, then pull back as ammunition inside begins to cook off. Radios go silent or fill with overlapping calls. Someone tries to establish contact with higher headquarters and finds nothing but static. The command post, as a functioning entity, ceases to exist. Within 5 minutes, Russian units along a 20-kilometer stretch of front lose coordinated leadership. Orders freeze mid-transmission. Artillery batteries wait for fire missions that never come. Drone operators lose tasking authority. reality. Battalion commanders act on outdated instructions, unsure whether to advance, hold, or withdraw. The front does not collapse, but it stiffens and slows, like a body losing nerve signals. By 0310 hours, Russian forces begin moving the remnants of the headquarters again, this time in panic. Vehicles scatter rather than convoy. Radio stays silent longer than doctrine allows. The decision-making loop stretches from minutes to hours. This command post mattered because it sat at the intersection of multiple systems. It coordinated artillery fires, managed drone reconnaissance feeds, and served as the relay point between higher operational command and frontline battalions. Its job was not to fight, but to think. Removing it does not kill soldiers immediately. It removes coherence. Modern armies rely on tempo. Decisions must move faster than the enemy's ability to react. This headquarters was responsible for maintaining that tempo in its sector. When it disappeared, the Russian side did not lose firepower. It lost timing. The economics of the strike are brutal in their simplicity. One precision rocket costing under $150,000 disables a command node representing millions of dollars in equipment and years of trained personnel. The radios, vehicles, and generators are replaceable. The officers are not. More importantly, the trust in mobility as protection is damaged. For Russia, the nightly movement of command posts had been a rational adaptation. Early in the war, static headquarters were annihilated by Ukrainian artillery and drones. Mobility reduced exposure time. It forced Ukraine to chase shadows. But mobility also introduced predictability. Vehicles move, radios transmit, generators hum, patterns emerge. Ukraine exploited that pattern patiently. The timing of the strike is not accidental. Night offers concealment, but it also compresses decision-making. Reduced visibility limits damage assessment. Casualties are harder to evacuate. Replacements are harder to coordinate. By striking in the early morning hours, Ukraine ensures that confusion bleeds into daylight operations, affecting the entire next day's fighting. There is also a psychological element. Russian officers already operate under pressure, aware that headquarters are priority targets. Moving every night is exhausting. It disrupts sleep, planning, and routine. When even movement fails to protect them, stress compounds. Officers begin to shorten setup times. They transmit more hastily. Mistakes increase. Doctrine starts to fray. In the days that follow, Russian forces attempt adjustments. Command posts move even more frequently. Transmissions are shortened further. Some functions are pushed higher up the chain, others downward. None of these changes fully compensate. The fundamental problem remains. Command and control must exist somewhere, and wherever it exists, it can be found. For global militaries watching closely, the implications are uncomfortable. The assumption that mobility alone can defeat precision strike is no longer safe. Precision has become cheaper. Intelligence fusion has become faster. The gap between detection and destruction has narrowed to minutes. This is not about a single rocket or a single command post. It is about a system of systems fight, where sensors, shooters, and decision-makers are linked across domains. Ukraine does not need air superiority to strike deep. It needs information superiority. The lesson extends beyond this war. Future conflicts will not be decided only by tanks and aircraft, but how well armies protect the invisible architecture that allows them to function. Communications nodes, data relays, decision hubs. These are softer targets than armored brigades, but far more consequential. At 0214 a.m., the Russian officers believed they were doing everything right. They moved, they hid, they followed doctrine shaped by months of painful lessons. It was not enough. The battlefield has shifted again, quietly, without announcement. Modern warfare no longer rewards those who move fastest or hit hardest. It rewards those who see first, understand patterns, and strike once, precisely at the place where thought itself lives.